Hey, this is Notser, and I wanted to close up my opinion on the British destroyers. They're leaving the CC inventory in 2 days' time, which would lead me to believe that a patch or changes are coming. I don't think changes are coming, I think it's a patch, but I have to at least act like there's more than one option here. Now, notice the commander build. It's incredibly odd. I'm not using Last Stand, I'm not using Concealment. Do I feel like I'm missing either one of those skills? Well, frankly, no. Last Stand is great for aggressive brawling. It's not really that useful if you intend to stay in the back and allow the enemy to make mistakes. As a defensive DD, you kind of have to do that. And as far as concealment, well, 6-3 is pretty adequate. I don't think I need to have 5-5. I would prefer more damage on my guns. That's how I deny territory and win the game. These destroyers act so well when they have something that you want. And I do mean so well. Hydroacoustic, 3 minutes. The damage per minute on the guns, they're floaty shells, but as you close distance, it becomes easier and easier and easier to hit them on the target's hull or superstructure or whatever, trying to walk the shell around to set fires. I constantly have games where I have 15 fires set. And that is very cruiser-esque. I'll be so annoying that I'll actually just set a single fire on certain targets that I know will be annoyed by it, and I'll just sit there. I won't fire anymore. I'll allow that single fire to burn. I'll just hang out by my base. Notice that the Shima, he had to leave the base. Friendlies called out, enemies capturing B point. Obviously, Shima arrived first. He has speed boost, and he goes 41 knots in the water base, way faster than me. As he was capturing it, I didn't want to have my surface detectability allow him to spot me. Friendly uses radar, spots him out, he retreats. Now that he's retreated, I'm in a defensive position. The Shima has to come to me. And as he's coming to me, inevitably he's going to be spotted because he wants something that I have, territory. And I'm completely fine with that. I didn't want to fire my gun. Because he fired his gun to try and stop me from capturing, I was able to just move a little bit away, continue the capture process. I still have something he wants. I wouldn't be surprised if he tried to do something even more bold. But all of that doesn't matter until I capture the base. And if we take note of the enemy deploy, B is ours. There are 2 DDs on the western flank, and I will keep note of that. But we're able to capture the base, and that's fantastic. And this is basically a win already. I know it's like, what? You can't call it a win. Oh yeah. They're that consistent. If I'm able to capture a base that I know the enemy wants, I will basically win the game. As long as I don't die, I will win the game. And it's this little maneuver here that the Shima was just, he really wanted to try and get a base capture. He felt the urgency. Well, the urgency led to his death. And my hydroacoustic led to me spotting the torpedoes before they could actually harm me. And we still have B point. And there are multiple enemies that will feel like they need to press in order to compensate for friendly DDs that were lost or the lack of capture points. Just going to allow myself to fully conceal. Once I fully conceal, I will consider another position that's very close to my defensive B point. Maybe fire on some battleships, set a couple fires, and just play smart. There's obviously radar ships hiding around islands that may or may not be near A and C point. There are also islands that I can make use of to block their line of sight, even if they're radaring me, and I just have to play patiently. As long as I play patiently, I'm going to win the game. That's how powerful this archetype feels. And it's really just a combination of the amount of high explosive fires that are being set overall. It goes very well with the current meta. You basically are doing exactly the same as light cruisers, heavy cruisers, even battleships. I think this is the most HE I've ever seen flung in the game. And enemy cruiser's dead. The Worcester is trying to set up near C point and potentially use radar to spot, but I'm on to him. I know exactly what he wants. And I'm going to work my way casually over to the island while openly firing. I'm going to maneuver if I feel like there's a threat to my personal ship. I'm almost trying to bait the enemy to actually pull the trigger. I'm just so far back, and I'm able to do so much damage between the damage over time sticking on the ship and the shells themselves. It's just, you play with that little advantage that you've gotten at the beginning of the game, and you basically lock the whole thing up. So enemy Wooster tries to do a little bit of damage, and he actually does pretty good damage. But I have found an island. I'm just going to chill here with smoke. I expect radar to come out any second now. And I'm going to wait the full duration in sea point behind an island in smoke and just continuously fire on the enemy. My accuracy is incredibly high, coupling my aiming skills with the dynamic crosshair. Consider the mini-map, the crosshair indicator on the mini-map with the directional line indicator. It's like shooting fish in a barrel. I know these battleships are trying to play the game. They're not bad players. They're not doing anything wrong. They just are going into a situation that they're just not designed to deal with. And you know what? That kind of sucks. It kind of sucks to feel powerless. And it's a slow burn. Like, Yamato over there, he's not going to die. But he's going to be so annoyed that it's going to slow down his push. I'm going to be able to capture C point. They are still trying to interrupt my capture. They're actually doing a pretty good job of interrupting my capture. Look at that, Yamato. Great, great shot. That was a complete blind fire. He fired in between the islands, and he aimed right at the water where I was located. And he got 1, maybe 2 shells to penetrate and not overpin. And I don't know what else he could do. The Wooster, who would want to detect me in smoke, well, guess what? He has to pull back because I have teammates that are taking advantage of my positioning in other team positions where we have moved the front forward. And that's how the British feel. They feel like you have an objective, you take that objective. If you can't get the objective, eventually the enemy will have to pull back from the objective, maybe in an attempt to take another objective. You seal it up, you defend it, you use that as a pushing point, a starting point for your team. It cascades out of control. Doesn't that sound like a lot of games recently? It feels to me that the game is just so punishing. One little mistake, and you're dead. You overextend into radar, you're gone. You overextend into a battleship, you're gone. You overextend into a DD like this, and you're gone. I've fought multiple DDs in different games where they had a clear health advantage. It doesn't matter. I have a massive DPM advantage. I'm going to kill you before you can kill me. And that's just the identity that has developed through the British DDs. Lower tiers, obviously the rate of fire is not as extreme, but lower tiers are also less competitive in that regard. A 4-second reload at tier 8, tier 7, completely adequate. They're fine. They all function the same way. Because of the lack of speed boost and speed overall, you really can't, or you don't, want to be aggressive. And thinking on that even further, Wargaming's really allowed the player to fulfill the identity even more because of the lack of speed boost. It's just so easy to focus on exactly what you need to do, because you can't go in and retreat away quickly. You can't rush in and cover that distance in a smoke. Instead, you're thinking about, is there an objective in the map that I can capture? Yes. Have we captured it? Cool. Is there a DD that is threatening a friendly or a cruiser or a battleship? And you just look around and you say, okay, some enemy is pushing forward. This ship is so insane. All of the British DDs are so insane if you're going to be one of those +1. If you're going to go to someone and offer your support. There's really nothing better than what you're offering. You're concealed. You can go to another part of the flank, pretty much undetected, and you can bring a ton of damage. I'm just trying to keep Yamato pinned down while this Montana moves forward. I'm going to switch to AP, aim for the bow, and, you know, we're going to be pretty good. It's pretty awesome. Could also aim for the superstructure or the stern. Everything's fine, you know, it's casual. It does this so well, and it does the other thing so poor, aggression. It's going to be played like this, and how do you counter that? How do you move into a position that can counter it? I don't really know that you can. It's just going to feel very frustrating. It's like going up against a light cruiser who has defensive position. Well, you don't let it get to that point. Yeah, well, it's easier to say that for a light cruiser than it is to say that for a British DD, because they're so small, they can easily find that position before you even realize they're there. And they can reposition before you've realized that they're doing it. I can't wait to see the player base play with these. Will it be as easy to be defensive, or will their instincts take over? You know, oh, I'm playing a DD, I need to be aggressive. Well, you're going to lose situations where you feel like, I would have won that in another ship. You probably would have. And that's why it's going to be a unique experience for everyone. And one that I don't think is going to be deviated from all that much, honestly. Just based on they function, they offer gameplay, they're British, their models are ready. I don't see them changing it. I wish they would alter it. I like the single launch torpedo systems. I think that's more fun. But regardless, that's what we get. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you next time.